I don't know how often I'll get to award this, but in case I do, I have the perfect outfit for it. I actually wound up spilling some water on me earlier, and somehow it wound up in this circular motion, and it looks like I kind of got shot. Actually, that's not funny. Gun violence is wrong. Anyway, so my low, my high, my active kindness. Honestly, my low is there's a reason why Corning was the defending sectional champs. Honestly, I was holding out hope for my alma mater, but losing 55-28 doesn't bode well. Ah, boy. That's okay. We lost a lot back when I was at Horseheads, too. It happens. So, with that in mind, I did see some highlights. Definitely someone who deserved this award. I'll be getting to that momentarily. My high was, even though Horseheads, because I'll be honest, I kind of left at halftime and it was 34-14. It's just that Horseheads really needs to work on defense. Because Corning's always been really great at misdirection. That's what I noticed. But, back to the old drawing board, I guess. Anyway, so even though Horseheads lost, it was still really great to see him play again. And plus, my dad was with me too, so a father-son bonding activity. And it was fun. We got to watch football again. And it was great. And here's the thing, my father wasn't 100% interested in going, but, as the game dragged on, okay. Starting to see some good highlights here. And funny enough, believe it or not, the grandparents of one of the players from Corning are actually the owners of a Sorges, that one restaurant in Corning I mention every now and again. So my father and I got to hang out with them. Yeah, we couldn't be in the stadium because you need some sort of badge or something where it's 2 people per player. So needless to say, my father and I had to watch them. The fence is a good ways away from the field, but we could see enough. I mean, you could barely see the scoreboard, but that was the long and short of it. But honestly, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And my act of kindness was, actually, funny enough, speaking of Swords, that's where we had dinner last night. So that's another pie I had. Having Swords for dinner, that's always awesome. And my act of kindness was helping clear the table after dinner. And I actually had to leave my parents early last night because my brother and sister-in-law wanted to get takeout and eat at the restaurant. So my father had to go watch my nephews, which, that's fine. I mean, my nephews were asleep by that point, so I'm hoping nothing went wrong. Actually, hold on a second. I want to knock on wood and make sure nothing bad happened to my nephews last night. I mean, I'm sure nothing happened. You get the idea. Anyway, that said, good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Before I get to yesterday's episode of Amphibia, I'll be getting to that momentarily. I have a Blue Hammer Award to give out. So, yeah, it was a pretty devastating loss that Horseheads had yesterday. 55-28. Ouch. But I saw some good stuff. Don't want to cover his head. He's nervous. He didn't want to be seen. Anyway, it was a pretty devastating loss, but you know what? In spite of what I saw, I did see some really good moments. I really, really did. I mean, they tried to come back a little bit. I mean, it was 34-14 when I left, and they scored 14 more points, so that has to count for something, right? So, for those of you who missed yesterday's video, this is the Blue Hammer Award. It's given to a football player who, throughout the game, in some way, shape, or form, goes above and beyond, the call of duty. Maybe your QB throws for 4 touchdowns in a game-winning drive, or you have a running back who runs for 250, or you have a defensive player that's just shutting everything down the opposing team's offense. Something akin to that nature, right? And while it was a pretty devastating loss, there was one. Actually, I thought there were 2 players who really shined well, but one just outshined the other. So, and before I give out the award, I want to mention, my policy is to never name names so as not to embarrass or offend anyone. So for the sake of keeping it, on the private side, I'll just say the player's number. That way, if you were at the game yesterday, you can look up who that player is yourself on your own time. But the honorable mention goes to, I believe, number 33, the running back from Horseheads. He was actually pretty solid. And I'm pretty sure he also played linebacker as well, and he was pretty good at that, so that was really great. And the winner of this award goes to Horseheads QB, number 10. Actually, I know the name of the QB because, get this, the QB of Horseheads right now is not only the son of my 9th grade Spanish teacher, but he's also the son of my 8th grade English teacher. Yes, there are 2 teachers in the Horseheads School District who are married, and they have a son playing QB for Horseheads. That's pretty dope if you ask me. Because I'm actually friends with my old 9th grade Spanish teacher on Facebook, and so, she was at the game, and oh, that's who it is. Okay, all right. And I gotta say, I really liked what number 10 did. He's a little crack little magician, he is. He can move. He's doing a little bit of a Roger the Dodger type stuff, It's pretty neat. Kind of like a white Lamar Jackson. He was really cool. So, yeah. Honestly, Horseheads lost because the defense couldn't handle Corning's misdirection, and number 10 and number 33 couldn't win it for him. So, needless to say, it's probably going to be a long season for Horseheads, but regardless, someone weekly will win this award. Now, obviously, I may not be able to go to all the games. Obviously, whatever games I go to and whoever I see, I'll gladly give the award to whoever I feel deserves it. But, to the coach who may or may not be watching this, you now actually have some idea for how you want to go about giving an award like this. Should you want to do this, of course. Anyway, that's about it for now. Put that right over there. So, with that out of the way, let's get into yesterday's episode of Amphibia, which is a pretty doozy of one because it was a great episode. Okay, I want to say that right now. So, yesterday's episode, half hour episode, and it's a big episode when they don't even bother doing the opening intro. They just do the title screen of Amphibia, boom, done, we're in, let's rock. This is the first temple, which, after the events of After the Rain a week ago our time, probably the night before or something, in terms of the story, Anne and Hop Hop are still kind of, uneasy about what happened because, let's be honest, after the events of last week, it was a pretty big revelation. They're not going to get over this overnight. In fact, honestly, by the end of this episode, they're not still 100% over it, but they just simply do what they can and take it day by day, which is about all you can do, really. Anyway, at this point, where Marcy shows up from Utopia, and she actually knows what the first temple is. And apparently there's some sort of way to get one of the gems out of the Calamity box, and hold it, and it'll sort of lead you to where the first temple is, which the first temple is based on, wit or knowledge, or, there's a lot of brain imagery, if you will. And during the temple, and honestly throughout this episode again, Hop Hop and Ann are, kind of uneasy towards each other for good reason. Kind of arguing a little bit, which at first I was a little bit annoyed, but now that I had an opportunity to sleep in it, I'm like, okay, I get why they had to do it, so it's cool. Anyway, so the first puzzle is basically there's a Rubik's Cube. And when you hold on to the Rubik's Cube, you're in some sort of sphere in which you float in the air. And as you're moving the Rubik's Cube, through all the different shapes and everything, the room is going out of control. It's actually kind of a neat effect. But, Marcy figures it out, and we move on to the next room. And the next room is actually really cool because basically it's a room full of red, blue, and green squares. And in order to go from one end of the room to the other, you have to step on the green squares. Or actually step on all the green squares and you get to go on. And the red squares like shoot fire. The blue squares like crush you with like a giant weight or anvil or something. And so they figure that out and they move on to the next one. Now, this is where a lot of Harry Potter fans collectively had a nerdgasm. Because they straight up copied Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And we actually have an idea of what Flipwort is. If you remember, actually I don't think I mentioned this, but at the end of the season finale of season 1, Grime mentioned that there was 2 games of Flipwort and Bog Jump, which, okay, apparently that's the Amphibia equivalent of chess and checkers, in which case Flipwort is easily chess. So, throughout what's going on, everyone gets in line, they have to go through all the motions ever. It looks like Marx is about to win, but then the game starts to cheat. Literally, the game starts to cheat. And then Marx is like, forget it, I can't give up, we can't be here anymore, let's go. It shows these green arrows going out to an outhouse, which happened to be right there at the entrance of the temple. And it turns out the way to recharge the gem that's in the Calamity Box was in the outhouse. And basically, the point of that whole Flipwort thing was, yes, it's great to be smart. And yes, if you're able to do stuff, that's great. But sometimes you gotta learn that there's just some things that you simply can't do. It's a part of human nature. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we develop. It's actually a really smart lesson for kids. So, in that regard, this is a great episode all around to teach a kid, Of course, because, when you're a kid, you feel like you're invincible, you feel like you can take on the world. But then, something comes along where, it makes you completely give up to the point where you just throw your arms and, that's it, had enough. Well, that may be, but you can either do that or learn from that. Like tell yourself, okay, listen, I know I couldn't do it, but that's okay because there's other stuff I can do. And that's a good thing. So, after they recharge the gem, apparently they have a way to get to the second temple. But at the end of the episode, they're like, do we want to go to the next temple or do we want to go home for break? They're all like, break? Yeah, I'm not going to lie, after this episode, they really needed a break. Although, and keep in mind, it was a very I didn't even really, I know I sort of glossed over a little bit how Anne and Hop Pop were sort of uneasy toward each other. I'm not kidding. They literally have a joke where there's, not in our time, but where they're literally walking for an hour. There's even a cue card that's 1 hour later. And they're still fighting. Because, again, it's, what happened in last week's episode was a huge revelation. And again, you can make a case for both sides. At the end of the day, Hop Pop wants something more than to protect his family. But at the same time, Anne wants to go home, and if there's something that's happening that's keeping her from doing it, even if it's caused by a close friend or relative, or in this case, foster relative, it's going to emotionally hurt you. I don't even know what to say other than, without giving away too much. This was, by all accounts, a great episode. And we're really starting to get into this arc proper. Which, a few Amphibia fans out there, including Ostrok Vox from the Roundtable, shout out to Ostrok Vox, says that this is the Temples arc. Which, okay, I really wasn't going to play, I'm a fan, but I wouldn't go so far as to call everything an arc. But if you want to call this by the Temple arc, okay. Although, now you're going to have to go back throughout the entirety of the series so far and, label the rest of the arcs as well. I guess you could do, maybe the first half of season 1, the Wartwood arc, the second half of the season, the Toad Tower arc, the first part of the first quarter of this season, probably Journey to Utopia arc. Then, up until the end of part 1 of this season, the Utopia arc. And now I guess you call this the Temples arc, which we're in now. I don't know. I'm sure someone's going to try and collectively piece this together. Although, one thing I have noticed about Matt Brawley and the good people behind the show, they definitely have a clear vision of what's to happen. And regardless of what happens, I'm in it for the whole ride. And it's going to be awesome. So once again, congratulations to number 10 of the Horseheads Blue Raiders for winning the first ever Blue Hammer Award. At least, unless maybe you want to keep it going or something. Let me know if you actually want me to keep this going. Because I would. If someone wants to watch a game for me and something, give me some notes or something. I mean, I don't know. Do whatever you want. Anyway, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media, turning to YouTube. I'm here helping this video for all of you guys watching. Don't forget, hopefully you have a wonderful Sunday. And remember, you guys want to talk to me, I was going to hear the landing here. I was back. Take care and make good choices. I gotta say, to this day, I still marvel. I was 12, 13 years old when I got this sweatshirt. And I've had this for 18 years. 18 years. She got one of your kids, get you for 18 years. Bye.